don't know, and I make videos for nursing school as well as weight loss. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you'll be notified every single time that I post. So today we are going to be talking about, should you be a CNA while in nursing school? We're going to talk about the pros and the cons of being a CNA. So I first want to preface this by saying all of these opinions are my own personal opinions based on my experience. So some of this stuff may not relate to you, or you may not ever experience it, but this is based on my thoughts. Okay, so I have 5 pros that I've listed out as well as 5 cons. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into it, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I think. The first pro is you get firsthand experience with patient care. So as a CNA, you do a lot of things with the patients as far as ambulating them, taking vital signs, making sure they're eating, they're clothed, they're bathed, and stuff like that. So you are getting firsthand experience on how to deal with patients, how to take care of them, as well as how to document things like as far as charting and stuff goes, and taking vital signs. You'll be able to practice those things. So that is one of the biggest pros of being a CNA while in nursing school. Another pro is that there's so many different directions you can go being a CNA or being a nurse in general. So if you want to be a CNA in, per se, assisted living facility, you can do that. Or if you want to be a CNA in the hospital, you can do that as well. However, the hospital and the assisted living facilities are completely different. They have different rules you have to follow, and different protocols when it comes to certain things. But that's the same with nursing anywhere. So you can go into geriatric nursing and work in an assisted living facility, or you can go into practically any field in the hospital. And those rules, even though you're doing some of the same stuff, the protocol and how you do it is different. So the next pro is that it is very flexible schedule wise. Personally, I worked in the hospital, and so I worked 3 12-hour shifts. So with me going to school, it was very flexible with my school schedule because I could work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and not have to worry about interfering with classes or trying to make school fit into my work schedule. So it is very flexible being a CNA while in nursing school. Or if you choose to, you can do 5 8-hour shifts during the week and still end up with your 40 hours. So it all depends on you and what your school schedule looks like. 9 times out of 10, they'll be willing to work with you being in school. Pro is you can apply what you learn in the classroom to your job. So you can apply, like I said earlier, taking vital signs, learning how to measure BP and respirations and heart rate. You can take that stuff that you learn in the classroom and actually apply it to what you're doing at work. And for me, that is a big plus because I'm a hands-on learner. So if I am learning how to do BPs in school and I go to work and I have to take 10 or 12 blood pressures on 10 or 12 different patients, I'm getting the experience I need to know how to properly take a blood pressure as well as properly document it. So the next pro is you get to see how the doctors and the nursing staff work together, and how they communicate effectively to come up with care plans, manage medications, and the overall care of that patient. I personally think it's really important to see how that communication works because, you know, you're going to be a nurse. You want to know how do you communicate certain things effectively to different members of the team, because eventually you're all going to have to work together as a team anyway to make sure that your patients are all taken care of. So I think that is really important, and it's a really big pro to me because, like I said, you get to see how everybody works together and works as a team. Now going on to the cons of being a CNA in nursing school. The number one con is it's hard work. It's not easy at all. Neither is being a nurse, period. It's very hard. But being a nursing assistant, you pretty much take care of the resident or the patient directly. So you are assisting with bathing the residents, making their beds, making sure they're clothed, making sure that they're fed. If they are incontinent, you have to change the briefs. You have to make sure everything is good for that patient as far as daily living. So working in the hospital, I personally worked on the heart floor, so I was taking care of patients who were recovering from heart surgery. And a lot of times, going along with taking vitals and making sure they're bathed and clothed and all that, there's also additional tasks that have to be done for specific patients. For patients recovering from heart surgery, they have to be walked 3 times a day. They have to be set up in the chairs to eat 3 times a day, because they have to make sure that their heart starts to work properly again. So there's a lot that goes into it, and taking care of a patient, taking care of patients can be hard, because every patient is different and every patient has different needs. So another con I would say is you are going to see a lot of things, including blood, vomit, poop, everything. You're going to see it, but you're going to see that stuff as a nurse anyway. So I think that going into it being a CNA, if you don't feel like you are truly ready for that, if you don't feel like you're trained for that, that can be a big con or a big turn off for you if you do decide to be a CNA in school. So that's why I put that on the cons list. Thirdly, as a con, the nurses are not always nice. Neither are the other CNAs. And you won't always have help being a CNA on the floor. Sometimes, and I'm just speaking from experience, you will be on the floor on a unit by yourself. You will be the only aide on that unit. And you will have to take care of 15 patients. And if you're working 12-hour shifts and you have to make sure everybody gets bathed, clothed, fed, changed, their rooms are cleaned, as well as taking vitals, making sure everything is charted, that can be a lot on a person. And being one person doing that and you don't have any help, it can be really stressful, and it can turn you off from being a nurse or a CNA. So that's another con. Another con is it is very, very tiring, especially if you're in school. Like I mentioned earlier, it is flexible schedule wise, but you have to think about it. You're working 12-hour shifts back to back, and you have to take, like for me personally, I was working where I was taking care of 13, 14 patients pretty much every shift by myself. So that can be very tiring. And after working from 7 in the morning to 7 in the night, you don't really have time or the energy to want to do anything like you think you would. I personally would come home, eat, and go to sleep and get ready for the next day. So that can be really hard on you, and it's also really hard on your body because you have to lift these people, ambulate these people, and if they can't do it, if they can't help you, it's a lot on your body and it's a lot of stress on you. And lastly, the pay isn't that great for all the work that you put in. And I'm just speaking from my personal experience. I live in the state of Kentucky, and CNAs, especially if you're not certified through the state, they do not make a lot of money. And you're thinking like, okay, we're doing all this work, we're pretty much nurses. The only thing we can't really do is administer medications or injections or things like that, but we're not nearly getting paid half of what they make. So that's a big con for me, because it's like I'm sitting here putting in 12-hour days, taking care of all these patients by myself, and I don't even reap the benefits of it because I'm not a registered nurse. So that can be a big con and a big turnoff from being a CNA while in school. So those were all my pros and my cons of you should be a CNA while in school. I personally think that it is a great experience overall because, like I said, you learn a lot and you can apply what you learn in school to your patients. But when it comes to financial and the stress and the workload, it can be really hard. But if you are determined to be a nurse, if nursing is something that you really want to do, you are passionate about it, a lot of that stuff you can see past, because it's like, eventually I'm going to be an RN and I'm going to reap everything that I sow, because I'm in the field that I want to be in and I have my foot in the door. So yeah, that is it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out a whole lot. And like I said earlier, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you never miss an upload from me. And always remember, you are smart, you are intelligent, and you are enough. Don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.